welcome back to the Crudbuilder, everybody. Today's episode, we've got to cut our firewall so that we can start to work on getting our transmission brace and one of these numerous Turbo 350 transmissions mounted to the back of the motor. So, how are we gonna do this? I guess is probably what you're asking. I don't know if you can see these bolts. These bolts are here to mount the trans brace to. Here is the trans brace. You guys might remember seeing this early in the Crudbuilder series, in my intro video maybe. This transmission brace has holes here to mount this to the back of the distributor protector. That's what these bolts are welded to the distributor protector for, is to go through here and then not on the back. However, as you can see, I mean, just looking at this bolt here, this is very high up. This is a Chevy motor in a Ford car, so nothing is going to fit right. You have to make it fit right. And so we're gonna have to cut a pretty big channel out of the firewall in order to make this all fit. The good news is that we have a nice guide on where to cut, and it's the distributor protector. Where we're going to cut is literally, I'm gonna mark some lines right on the outside edge of the distributor protector, because I know that my transmission brace mounts on the inside of the distributor protector. So I'm gonna grab a pen and I am just gonna start marking some lines, and we're gonna go from there. I think what I may even do is, well, let's just mark some lines and see what we come up with, and we'll go from there. What I want to make sure that I don't do is I want to make sure that I don't cut any of these wires when the time comes. But basically, here's where my line is going to start, right here. And so I'll cut from that line all the way down there, and do the same on the other side. Mark the other side as well. The other side seems like it'll be a little easier because, well, I could conceivably start my cut on one of these little guys here. So alright. So once I've got everything marked roughly, the next tool that you really need, the tool that's going to be the most handy for this, is the Sawzall. I use a Sawzall and cutting wheel. You guys probably see me use the cutting wheel quite frequently. Sawzall sometimes, but when you've already got a nice opening like what we have here, the Sawzall is going to be our best bet, and that's what we're going to use. Ugh. Again, I want to make sure that I don't cut any of these wires that I spent all this time wiring up. Okay, so you can see my bolts. Hopefully you can see this, guys. My bolts are on the inside of my line here. This is as far out as my trans brace is gonna come. And it's not gonna get higher than just below this top of the DP. So I think we're in pretty good shape. I'm gonna cut the inside of this. I'm gonna cut the top side of this from the inside of the car because it'll be a lot easier than trying to cut behind this DP. And then I also have to get underneath the car and do some cutting. So I think we'll do some cuts inside the car and see where this thing, kind of see how much I can bend this thing, and then we'll cut from the inside, cut from underneath. Okay, I am inside the car, very tight where I am currently. Hopefully you guys can see. Here is the cut I made on the driver's side. Here is the cut I made on the passenger side. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut this piece out because there's a big hole here, and then I'm gonna cut this side vertically over here horizontally from the top of this circle over to here, and then once I cut this top piece off, then I should be able to at least bend this piece. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's see how this goes. Let's take a look and see what these look like from the outside and from the underneath. So there's an inner skin, and an outer skin. That's why we were having such a hard time cutting it from the inside. Again, on the driver's side here, you can see we had cut through some of the outer skin and got kind of hung up on the inner skin. So I think this is going to be a better job for the cutting wheel on the outside. And so I think I will cut with the cutting wheel on the outside and down in towards this channel. So I'll get the cutting wheel set up and start making some cuts. guys can see this, almost off. I just have to finish cutting these two little sections. And so I've opted to do that from inside the car. We're gonna try this again. And there's one. And there's two. So this should come out of here now. Stand by, viewers. There we go. All right. Okay. So, piece comes out. You're probably going, oh my God, look at the size of that hole. Crudbuilder is gonna have all sorts of stuff coming up through that hole. But once we get our, in fact, I might even have to cut more because I feel a bolt right here. But back to what I was saying, once the transmission brace is basically going to fill up this entire channel. The transmission is going to, you know, pretty much cover up this whole area. And then I have some plans on how I'm going to cover it as well once it's in. So, but I do need to cut a little bit more. It might be hard to see, but there are bolts here that are not clearing this. So I am going to actually cut across, cut down a little bit more. Let's grab the brace, and I think we're gonna have to cut a whole lot more out of this hump down here, but we can kind of start to mock up the brace a little bit and see if that's the case. Oh, I hope you guys can see this. With great difficulty, I was able to heft the brace inside this tiny cramped area. And now we are going to attempt to see what this will look like. And already I'm not clearing. There we go. There. All right. Not as bad as I thought it would be. So it looks like I've got these bolts, and hopefully you can see this. These bolts are roughly where they are going to sit. So what I've got to cut still is I've pretty much got to cut all the way back to here. The shifter mounts here, and so that is what we will do. Let's move some of this stuff aside. We're gonna cut. We've mostly got our channel cut. We just have to cut across the hump, which is going to be a little bit difficult to do with the Sawzall. So I'm going to grab the cutting wheel and we'll do that real quick. So channel's cut. See, it's pretty big, but like I said, the this transmission brace is going to eat up most of it and cover most of it. So now that it's cut, I'm going to try to fit this back into place. So my shifter will be about here. It's a push-pull shifter, and so that's perfect. My switch is here, my pedals here, and so that's just a quick little episode on how to cut your firewall and your drive shaft, you know, channel or hump or whatever this thing is called, so that you can mount your brace in here. So we'll see you on the next one when hopefully I have the transmission in here and we can hook the shifter up.